Baltimore Ravens trying to take over the AFC North. The Steelers at one point looked like they would threaten. Now they're 7-7, from 7-4 to 7-7. Not the way you want to head into December. I really do have a feeling that the end is coming for the Steelers and Mike Tomlin. Don't know anything yet, but it just feels like it's heading in that direction. And it does feel like it's going to be initiated by Tomlin or by some other team that wants to hire Tomlin. We've been spitballing some of the possibilities. The Commanders make the most sense. The Falcons could be intriguing. The Chargers, interesting thought. The Bears, if they make a change. The Panthers, if Mike Tomlin would be willing to work for David Tepper, and if Tepper would be willing to hire a defensive coach. They've already put out the word they're looking for an offensive coach. Really, any team making a coaching change. And I've said before that if Tomlin ever got fired, there are teams that would otherwise be happy with the coach they have that would fire their head coach for a chance to hire Tomlin. And the thing we need to remember, even though the process doesn't officially begin until the end of the regular season, and for the teams that have already fired their coaches, they're doing their work behind the scenes. But the teams that haven't fired their coaches, they don't just pull the ripcord on the lawnmower the day after the season ends, or the afternoon, the evening after the season ends. They know where they're going to go, and a lot of these owners know who they're going to hire. And just like I said a couple of months ago about Bill Belichick and the Patriots, if there's a deal to be done for him to be essentially traded to another team, there's a good chance it gets worked out before we even get to the end of the season. Same thing with the Steelers. I mean, if I'm a guy that I know I'm going to fire my current coach and hire a new one, and I'm interested in Tomlin, I'm finding a way to have an off-the-record conversation or communication through back channels with Art Rooney of the Steelers to find out whether or not, number one, Tomlin's available, and number two, what it would take. And you talk to Tomlin's agent off the record through back channels, conversations that never happen, burner phones if you have to do it. Is your guy interested in coaching Team X, whatever team it is? Interested in this job? Interested in that job? We'd be naive to think those kinds of things aren't happening now. No one's going to come out and say it, because if you say it, you get in trouble. But I think a lot of these cakes are baked before we get to the process that they're pulling up the, that thing that they keep cake under. I'm sure there's a name for it. The cake, I don't know what it's called. You lift it up and there's your cake. That cake's already getting baked, I think, for a lot of these teams looking for coaches. And if anyone's going to be interested in Tomlin, it's not a phone call that's going to be made after week 18. It's a phone call that maybe was made over the course of the past week, if not sooner, when it really started to become palpable that the Steelers and Tomlin may be headed for a split. And I continue to be interested in the possibility that the Jets will be the team at the urging of Aaron Rodgers that tries to make a run at Mike Tomlin. And I'm not saying Robert Saleh should be fired. I just think that knowing the way Rodgers operates, his respect for Tomlin, and owner Woody Johnson's combination of willingness to do something after such a disappointing season and placate Rodgers, who handed over $33.5 million. That cash that Rodgers handed over goes a long way toward paying Mike Tomlin. It'll be interesting. And it all comes down to where Tomlin wants to go. And if Tomlin doesn't like the terms that are being offered by a new team to essentially trade for his services for one more year under his current contract, he can just say, I'll finish the season, 2024, I'll become a free agent. We never see that happen. We never see a coach consciously and deliberately become a free agent and say, I don't want a new contract. I don't want to stay. I'm going to go where I want to go once my contract is expired. I think the owners frown upon that because that's a way to give more coaches leverage and drive up the price that it costs to hire NFL coaches. There's no salary cap. There's also no salary floor. There's no requirement to spend any amount of money on a head coach. And I think that if we had access to all the numbers over the past 50 years, we would see that the rate of player pay has gone up astronomically in comparison to the rate of head coaching pay.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.